Welcome to Marsha's Plate, a Black trans-inclusive feminist podcast. A place where we know that not everybody is invited to the cookout. And we also know that every single day is a brand new day, and we have the power to make a difference today. So let's do this. It's a new day, brand new day, make it better than yesterday. You can always find a way to turn it all around again. It's a new day, brand new day, make it better than yesterday. You can always find a way to start over again. Tuesday, when the sun rises, you can start over again. A new day, you can make it better than yesterday. It's a new day, it's a new day, new day. There's a way you can turn it around. Trust me, there's a way out. There's more time. Just don't give up. When the sun rises on a new day, you got another chance. Yeah, 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 yeah. A new day, you got another chance. If you want to join the conversation, you can hashtag Marsha's Plate. You can follow us on most social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of that. Just search for Marsha's Plate, MARSHASPLATE. Y'all ready? Let's get started.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
What's going on, honey?
Hey, peace.
Oh, today is World AIDS Day.
Yeah.
It is. Today was the first day that I saw the clip, not sure if y'all have seen it, of a white trans guy during the height of the AIDS epidemic. And he was a white trans gay guy, and he was talking about how his community was being impacted and how he was diagnosed with HIV a year prior to him giving this testimony on camera. And he was talking about the importance of trans men, specifically gay trans men, being seen, being recognized, and being cared for during the height of the AIDS and HIV epidemic. Not sure if y'all saw it, but Marquise posted it today.
As I said in the beginning of the tape, last year I was diagnosed with AIDS. I feel an urgency to have this story told so that I don't have to feel that I'm going to die and there's going to be more female-to-males coming to the gender clinics and being told that there's not such a thing as a female-to-male gay man and it can't be done and you can't do it like they told me. I want the gender profession to know that it can be done and it has been done, and there are others out there that feel the way that I do. And that most solidly, I guess I want to state that I think I portray that sexual preference and gender identity are two totally different phenomenon. That because someone feels male does not necessarily mean they're going to be attracted to females. That your self-perception is far different. How you feel about yourself is a different matter than who you want to sleep with or who you want to have sex with.
His name is Lou Sullivan. He's actually from Milwaukee, which is interesting. And yeah, was the first kind of voice person that was visible, voicing the concerns and the issues facing trans men. And that lack of visibility and that lack of support kind of slipping through those cracks. And that was back in the 80s, and that's something we're still navigating today. It's definitely better, but it's still a fight to be seen for people to address folks who are in care and also like prevention work that's starting in our community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. For me, it's twofold. One, like you said, Jay, this is something that we're still working on in the community. I mean, our first doses of PrEP, the first PrEP pills that came out, we found was causing complications or wasn't as healthy or as good for people assigned female at birth. And it's funny that we're still navigating things like that today, and this is no new subject. Also, being a trans person, for a long time, I was so blind to the existence of trans men, and just seeing somebody who had been around since before I've been alive, and passing, and hair on his face, and all of these things, it was it 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 was one of those realization moments, where I was reminded that I don't know everything, not even about this community.
Even though I think I forgot the name of the medication. One of us can look it up, not me, because I'm on my phone. But it's one of the medications, only one that I believe it's newer. I forgot I think it started with A. That it works for folks who are assigned female at birth. I mean, the truth of the matter too is there's just not a lot of visibility in conversations about Black women and HIV. Both cis Black women and trans masculine people, Black trans men, have like really high infection rates, and we're just not centered in those conversations. I joke about it and also serious about it. Like, nobody was really checking for a lot of the challenges that a lot of Black trans men and Black trans masculine people face. A lot of people weren't checking it when it comes to Black lesbians. A lot of people weren't checking it when it comes to cis Black straight women. So it's like, you know what I mean? So that's the reality, and our community deserves much better.
Yes, the medications, HIV prevention, all of those things have been updated, and it is safe for females, males, men, women, agender individuals, non-binaries. Yes, I definitely recommend that if you're sexually active, especially if you're not monogamous, to definitely be on PrEP. Me personally, even in monogamous relationships, I am on PrEP because I don't trust anybody with my body that much.
I want to spell it because I'm not about to kill the pronunciation of this medical word. The new long-acting injectable medication is called YEZTUGO. So yes to go.
That's what I would imagine, girl. Yes to go, honey. Yes
Yes to
to
go.
go, honey. You get that shot, and it's yes to go.
Period.
Well, Diamond, to be clear, what other HIV, what other PrEP medications did you find that were that folks who are assigned female at birth can use?
The main ones, the daily oral pill would be Truvada and Descovy. Injectable is Apretude, and that's APRETUDE. Those are the
Wait,
ones
they're
that
saying,
mainly come up.
wait, hold on. They're saying Truvada is now like changed. They just changed the formula
Truvada and Descovy are oral medication that are highly effective when taken and prescribed now.
for assigned
No,
people at birth people.
no, Descovy is still the one recommended for people assigned female at
Yeah,
birth.
no, because Truvada definitely is not. Like, I mean, yeah, because the issue with Truvada was, at least, I don't know if that's changed, but the issue was with Truvada is around the tissue lining. And if
Hmm.
you're having vaginal sex or sex in your front hole, like, it does not protect you in the same kind of way. That's why, you know, yeah, so that's why, not all medications are good for a front hole.
Wait. It's still effective in the front hole, but let me give the nuance to that. So the drug's active components, they may reach a lower concentration and take longer to build up in the vaginal and cervical tissues compared to the rectal tissues. So this difference, what this means is that very high adherence, meaning that you have to take it every day. You can't skip any dosage, is essential for people with vaginas to achieve maximum protection against HIV from vaginal sex. Lower adherence, mean you're not taking your medication on a regular basis, makes it more likely to compromise the effectiveness of the medication for people with vaginas compared to men who are having anal sex. So you get the difference. So you have to do You have to be very diligent in taking the medicine every single day. You, unlike anybody who's having anal, unlike them that can slack off in their adherence to taking the drug, you cannot. You have to take it every day so that the medication can build up in your vagina and cervical walls. That's the difference. So it's still effective, but your adherence has to be more diligent.
Not too long ago, a TikToker, might have been a couple years now, it was a TikToker who was talking about missing PrEP doses to the point that there was a seroconversion and he ended up contracting HIV. And every time, I just want to put this out here on World AIDS Day, honey. Every time I think about that motherfucker, it makes me think that anybody who has access and awareness of PrEP and you still contract HIV, whether purposefully or accidentally, I think you're a fool. Just me personally. I think you're a damn fool.
Well, I don't think you're a fool because stigma still exists. And so while it may be in your peripheral, it may be something that you heard about, but you're scared of, even us talking about, what is the efficacy of different things. Because of the stigma, I can imagine that there be multiple scenarios where somebody could fall through the cracks.
Mm-hmm.
But you get what I'm saying? I understand your sentiments, but I just understand that stigma can just make people fall through the crack for various reasons.
I know it's a hot take. I know some of y'all going to be in the comments, and I'm ready for this conversation because I think it's a conversation necessary for our community. The reason that I even have feelings about people who have access to PrEP, who are aware of PrEP, people who have been on PrEP, and you just missing your pills, but you still out here fucking like you're not forgetting the fuck. So how are you forgetting your medication to not only protect you but protect other members of our community? And that's the biggest issue for me when it comes to people contracting HIV. Um, is that it affects the whole community. It affects all of us, it affects children, you know what I mean? People giving birth without the proper medication and awareness. And so I do have some bit of strong feelings about that, honey. I'm aware of the stigma and I know the HIV girls is going to sweep me up like I'm in the supermarket, but it is what it is.
This is the first time that our president hasn't actually said anything about World AIDS Day. Hasn't even mentioned it. Hasn't even addressed it. And so it kind of lets you know where we are politically. We are in a crazy ass time around HIV, around programs getting defunded, education being, and we'll talk about this later, but education being kind of sliced and misconstrued. And the crazy part is that we are so close to kind of, like the finish line of this not being something that is an issue in our community. It's like right there. And, because of these people's political agenda, it can derail some of the progress. I want to say derail as in stop it, but slow it down drastically, in how we are, just how close to we are to making it not even an issue.
Yeah, and
I
let
want.
me let me just give a little more clarity. I do agree that people who have slipped through the cracks, people who aren't aware of PrEP, young kids, people who have been molested, if you've contracted HIV and you were not aware of preventative measures and things like that, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the people like me who know, if my boyfriend or my partner was to stop taking his pills and we were ethically non-monogamous and he goes out and contracts HIV for somebody, I'm going to call him a damn fool in his face. Not saying I would leave him because I know how to protect myself, but I would remind him that he's a fucking fool.
So some of my work background is in public health. Has been in public health. Has been in HIV prevention. Has been in meetings where they were presenting aptitude, and I am not HIV positive. I do not live with HIV rather, but I was one of couple of trans guys, particularly where I was living, that were a part of those conversations, like a lot of other Black trans guys who have been, and particularly those who are living with HIV, talking about their experiences. But I do think from a public health perspective, if that's known, then why is the strategy not changing to reach people? That's where I'm kind of like people get paid to do public health work, you know. Um, and I'll shout out the work that is being done. I know with Seattle, with People Covering Against AIDS Network, they've been doing work since the 80s and really revolutionized a lot of mobile outreach and reaching people like where they're at. And we see that in various cities across the country. But I think at a time where we know that PrEP is about to be gone, free access is about to be curtailed, I think it's going to be really important for public health agencies, but also just as a community to like um, educate each other, you know, because like that's what we got to do. Like before we get organizations and agencies and all this kind of shit, that whole bunch of money, that's grassroots. You know
The
what I'm saying? So like that's we that's important, because we set the culture of our community. Like period. Like if we are in the culture, I shared, this is a microcosm, but in the little bubble I was in at one point in college, we had the Sex Out Loud group that did a lot of sex education. You had your Women's Center, your LGBT Center, Multicultural Coalition, the Asian Coalition, all this stuff. The Native American, everybody, Black student, everybody. And so there was a whole set of us, particularly queer folks, where, we were getting that language, not just in the classroom, but from this organization. Yeah, we're talking about protection. We're talking about condoms. We're talking about female condoms. We're talking about lube. We're talking about safe sex in a really comfortable way because it got presented to us in a really comfortable way. And we were given some language that was accessible to have those conversations where we just started, it was normalized over time. You know what I'm saying? So, and there's a lot of stuff that is normal in our communities that's not normal in like cisgender people's communities. And I think this is definitely something that a lot of people drop the ball on. And so I think we already got to get back on it because you and I, Diamond, we came up in the era, it was condoms fucking everywhere. Condoms everywhere. Go to the gay bar, condoms. I don't know about you, Diamond. So I know you wasn't like in the gay scene like that to get heavy. But, but there were condoms everywhere, and with PrEP, you don't really see condoms. And I'm not saying condoms fix everything, but with condoms being everywhere, it also kind of helps to initiate conversations. You know what I mean? Even if you're not even if you're on PrEP.
For sure. I was during the AIDS epidemic, I was in the gay scene a lot. So condoms were everywhere. Also, what I want to kind of point out, what one of my friends kind of pointed out to this year, he was like, he's seeing a lot of World AIDS Day events and panels with no people on them that are of lived experience. Um, and then if he does see somebody who is of lived experience on the panel, it'll be like 1 out of 5 in the panel is living with HIV. And he was saying that it's extremely disheartening to see people who are organizing these kind of these events not centering people living with HIV and the principle of MIPA, the meaningful inclusion of people living with people with HIV in these kind of spaces and organizing. Like he's like he doesn't understand why we are not centering people with that experience. And in
Yeah.
my experience as an organizer, I have had so many people come to be come to me to be a part of panels, and I'm not living with HIV. It is better for you to pick somebody who is actually either of that experience or who work in the field. And so I literally have a copy and paste of list of activists that I know who are way more impacted than me, than people that I can send to people when they actually come to me to be on panels about this, because I don't do HIV work. I haven't worked in HIV since I was younger. I have, but it's been a long time since I've been in specific HIV work. And so, and one of those reasons is because there's way more people that are more impacted that will be more, what is it? Just more, they're just a better pick than me. And so I'm
So
always
Yeah.
expert.
Life experience is something that can't be taught, is something that can't be trained. So I definitely get it. I mean, I think all of us have been able to sit in rooms over our cisgender counterparts just because we're trans. Yeah, I know I definitely have, you know. I just appreciate everybody who has done the work with HIV and AIDS. Me being somebody who's a bit of a hypochondriac, and grew up during a time where we didn't know much of anything. And knowing that I was queer, knowing that I was part of the community, knowing that I was susceptible, and then at that time being surrounded by cisgender hetero people who knew even less than I did, you know, and they were the ones guiding me compared to all of the things that we know now. And I've watched, and a lot of us have been watching y'all make the incredible strides that y'all have been making for everyone, for public safety. And I just want to take that moment to commend everybody who's worked in HIV, AIDS, HIV prevention, and public health. Thank you.
yes, thank y'all. What have y'all been seeing that has been the positive in these early times? Let us know. How are you participating? How are you making sure that people who need to be at the table, who need to be at panels, who need to be um, on platformed around HIV, how are you making sure that they are the ones that are getting the spotlight? Let us know. Um, yeah, hashtag Marsha's Plate.
Hashtag MARSHASPLATE.
Oh my God, I want to thank all of our new patrons this week. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yay, 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 yay. So, not only are you helping to sustain this particular podcast, I also donate to other podcasts, I donate to other organizations. I have my finger on the pulse of the community. And I know a lot of grassroots organizations that are doing great work out here. So you're not only helping to sustain us, you're helping to sustain other people in a community. Because I put my money where my mouth is. That's just the kind of bitch I am. Community as fuck. So thank you. I really, really appreciate you. And if you have not become a patron, why have you not? You can donate as low as $1 a month. It doesn't matter. Anything helps. Please. Do I have to play Sarah McLachlan and show you puppies? Like, what do I have to do? Do I have to resort to what the white people do to get you to give them money?
Anyway, the link is in the bottom. Back to the show.
Baby, I'm sure y'all know that Cardi B sued Tasha K for over $3 million. From what I know, Cardi B has yet to receive her money still, honey, and that's been a minute. Child. Anyway, Tasha may have been the first, but she is far from the last. If y'all haven't heard, Milagro versus Megan Thee Stallion has just concluded, with the jury reaching a verdict that Milagro is liable for causing defamation against Megan Thee Stallion. Milagro had reposted, she claims, allegedly reposted a deep fake video of Megan Thee Stallion in a compromising situation. I honestly haven't seen the video personally, and I have no interest in looking at it, even for journalistic purposes. Megan Thee Stallion has been vulnerable and has been exposed for being human. So I can imagine that if you had to deep fake something about her, it's probably pretty disgusting. And I also just don't want to entertain that. I don't want to add a view or a click to anything supporting that. But anyway, Milagro has also been found liable for essentially riding, conducting, honey, being the head passenger, baby, owning the hate train for Megan Thee Stallion. A lot of Milagro audience have been people who you may have seen or heard on social media speaking talking points such as Tory Lane's DNA was never found on the gun. People essentially doubting and questioning in this whole conspiracy theory that Tory Lanez did not shoot Megan Thee Stallion, even though he is currently doing time and convicted for
Even
shooting.
having deep fake ass videos, like literally promoting deep fake videos of Megan.
Yeah, the person who promoted the deep fake video, the person who had the biggest platform and posted the deep fake video is the same person who has led the train, who has led this social conspiracy theory, this idea that Tory Lanez did not shoot Megan Thee Stallion. Um, but what I want to talk to y'all about, because even bigger for me, like the shocker for me, I'm not shocked that a blogger done got sued. I'm not shocked that the motherfucker done lost. Honey, I'm not shocked that she ain't got enough money to pay the bitch. Honey, she already talked about doing a GoFundMe. I was just listening to her ass talk before we got on here. But I'm shocked at the fact that legally she is considered new media. She is considered a media outlet, and in order to sue her, Megan Thee Stallion's legal team had to go through all the precautions that they would have to go through even if they were suing Fox. My mind is blown at that. Diamond, Jay, what are y'all reactions? I'm curious.
For me, I am thinking, I understand it. It's like, we are in a time where there are people, and I think we're included, where there are people who are creating platforms that people listen to, that people go to for information, that people go to for entertainment, that people go to for a particular point of view, and we are intentionally up editing and uploading and creating media around culture and topics and events and da 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 da. I think while we are not the people like us and people like her and people like blogs are not traditional media or news or journalism, there is I think new media or non-traditional media has some relevance and has some especially as we can see, we're literally talking about how the spread of this information, good, bad information or misinformation or disinformation, can really impact people's brands, people's political movements, people's image. All these kind of things is really really, it can be impactful to those things. So I think that there has to be a level of responsibility that you can have if you're doing, if you're mishandling that type of power. And so I think we're in new territory, and I think this is going in the right direction because, yo, if you out here creating platforms and making money and clicks, I think there has to be a level of accountability. And I think that this is, to me, I think it's going in the right direction. So, yeah, I think new media is just as relevant.
Well, honey, it's gonna work out for Marsha's plate because this done lit a fire under my pussy, honey, and then let me know real quick that bitch, I cannot be spreading no misinformation. I'm done with the kikiing, I'm done with the skits, I'm done with the dry humor and all that, honey. I ain't got time to be played because I ain't got no money like that, no motherfucking way. I do want to add the point before you give your opinion, Jay. I do want to add a point that I'm not sure if y'all are aware. I think I might have said it here before. China has implemented a law where you're not even allowed to speak about certain subjects and give information on certain subjects on social media unless you're an expert, a proven expert in whatever you're attempting to talk about, science being the main thing. What do you think, Jay?
About which, oh, about which
About,
part?
I mean, what do you feel strongly about? Do you feel more strongly about the fact that Megan Thee Stallion sued a content creator and won, or do you feel more strongly about the fact that content creators are now considered a legal form of media on the papers? Honey, I know if
Yeah.
Milagro Grams is media, honey, then we must be media times 10.
I think, yeah, I think yes to that. Um, but I don't think it's interesting because I watched Roland Martin. I was watching Roland Martin. I want to say last week he was talking about this, and he did a segment. I'll try to find it, and we can put it in the comments. But he was talking about because Stephen A. Smith, right, was like talking out his ass about politics, and he's
Per
like,
usual, per
right,
usual.
exactly. And it's like, I don't know what these white people are paying you to open your mouth because you're really good at what you do, which is sports. So you should stick to that. You don't see me doing sports kind of thing, is what he was saying. But
Mind you,
also,
he don't even play sports. He just talk about them.
right, he's a sports journalist, right? That's what he's trained to do. That's what he went to school for. That's what his profession is. And one thing I think for us all to remember, is the difference between media and journalism. Just because somebody is media doesn't mean they're a journalist, and so there's different standards for journalists. Now media has different standards legally, but I'm just saying for us as like consumers, it's like it's important. That's one thing he was talking about. It's like stuff gets recycled, right? It's like one story, and like even some of the sites that are supposed to be for newspapers or news sites that have journalists are recycling stories and just adding a couple sentences. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes it is kind of hard to get to the source, the first source. But anyway, I say all that to say it just made me think about that and just like how it's important to get the facts part from a journalist source, not necessarily, even if the media, it don't matter. Even with us, like we're gonna give you a link to the source. Like check the source about the stuff. So
Yeah, I think you should
Yeah.
always definitely have multiple sources, multiple sources of information, fact check everything and everybody, and do deep dives on things. Sometimes you just can't take things for face value. I think you should actually, do deep dives on information, like from multiple people.
Mm-hmm.
That's just
Yeah.
I just think that's where we are today in regards to information is too many things out in the world that are trying to sabotage you that are trying to sabotage your point of view, sabotage what you think about trying to give you a particular spin about either a celebrity. In this case, we're talking about Megan Thee Stallion, and because of capitalism and the potential monetary benefits that come with things going viral, everybody doesn't have the integrity to put out real information because sometimes the real information isn't as salacious. It isn't as aligned with their particular audience. You're not gonna if the facts is pointing towards that Megan Thee Stallion did get shot by Tory Lane, which that's what the facts are pointing towards. Somebody who has been in the manosphere, who is the red pill type of niggas, they're not gonna have the integrity or have the motivation to specifically tell the truth about that if they're getting more clicks by being anti-Meg or anti-woman or anti-left, and however that works in their particular audience. And so they have more motivations to spin it to where you're not understanding, or to and we've talked about this in the past where there's literally studies that people who were literally getting paid to find and share the truth, they literally, if it did not fit, even if they were getting paid to share the truth, they would literally rather choose to share misinformation that aligned with the wrong politics. And so even when money is the motivation in the study, that they sometimes would just share the wrong thing just because it doesn't, just because it didn't align. they wanted it to be that it did align with with the narrative that they wanted to sell. So
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah, misinformation is real, you know, whether it's traditional media, mainstream media, new media, social media, there are people who, for personal reasons, are out here telling lies. There are people who, for financial reasons, are out here telling lies. There are people who literally get paid to tell y'all lies and to try to have y'all believe in bullshit under the guise of conspiracy theory. It's always under the guise of conspiracy theory because there are legitimate conspiracy theories that have been proven to be true. So a bunch of people will tell you a bunch of bullshit under the guise and under this idea that in a couple of cases, things that the media or things that we believed or things that we thought were crazy is true, is real. You know, aliens are real, you know, type shit. People will depend on ideas like that and stories like that that to sell you bullshit, honey.
yeah.
Essentially. Yeah. So beware, 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 people. You know, I go back to the old adage, believe half of what you believe half of what you see and none of what you hear, honey.
um, do you think that this is a good thing for? Oh, it's of course it's a good thing, but how do you feel this is going to impact Megan in the future?
I honestly I feel so sorry for Meg. Honestly, I feel like she didn't get a fair shot, all pun intended. Um, and it's a shame. Like, as soon as she started to blow up and get recognized, this whole incident happens. And because of social media, because of misogyny, because of misogynoir, because of anti-blackness, because of patriarchy, her everything that she has done and all the work that she does, she's one of the hardest working women in music right now, period. And has been for years. Um, and all of that is falling to the wayside that all because of bullshit because she was shot.
Do you think that the I feel like it's something about the Tasha K situation that kind of rubs me the wrong way because she got to file a bankruptcy and she when Cardi B won the case, she was required to pay her 4 million. But
Mhm.
then because of the bankruptcy, it took it down to one point something million. And it's like, and Cardi B has the right to garnish her wages and do all that kind of stuff. And so, but I'm not seeing Tasha Gay changing her ways of doing things. She might have stopped talking about Cardi B, but she's still doing the same kind of foolery, shock media that she was doing before, and giving people platforms. Even with Cardi B's man Stefan Diggs, like she even let the Butch Queen, well, not Butch Queen, he's not Butch Queen, the gay boy, not gay boy, he's, I don't know what he is, he's a boy, and
He's a fagalicious boy.
he's something. I don't know what he is, but he said that Tay Diggs tried to drug him, and um not Tay Diggs, Stefan Diggs.
I was
Um
getting ready to say because Tay Diggs don't even like black people.
Stefan Diggs said that he tried to drug him and rape him and all this kind of stuff, and she and Tasha K allowed him to come on her platform, use her platform to be able to say this stuff. Now, of course, she got the bias of I if I can't get to Cardi, I can get to Cardi into her now wearing out her baby daddy, all that
He's
kind
a
of stuff. But this
man.
type of foolery is what got you having to file bankruptcy and pay her, da 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 da, and she hasn't changed. And so, do you think that what?
Because the sensationalism is what's making the money, right?
Yeah, and
Which
so
Yeah,
is
do you think this girl from Miami is going to change her ways? Because I'm pretty sure this brought her even more attention and even more traffic. I'm like, does this make the kind of blogs that are benefit from this stuff, does it change them? I don't know if it changes them.
I don't know who it will and won't change. I know it's been already changed my ass, honey. But I mean, what do you expect? Tasha K is messy work with a bald head. You know what I mean? Like Tasha K is again, a dusty Miami chick, honey, that got some attention on social media. She is not giving up her formula, honey. She's gonna be a messy bitch till the day she dies. Swear to God. Um, yeah, I don't know. I just don't see it for Tasha K. I understand the entertainment aspect, but for me, I don't really want to spend a whole lot of my time listening to somebody who I can't trust, and I'm going to have to fact check everything they say and every move they make, and I'm going to have to wonder about their motives at the end of the day because I mean, she just is nasty to and about everybody. Every group of people. I personally don't really get it, but let us know what y'all think, honey. Let us know what y'all think about Meg's win against Milagro Let me know what y'all think about Milagro and other content creators being considered new media, honey. Make sure you hashtag Marsha's Plate when you do that, honey. Hashtag MARSHASPLATE.
I get on nerdy tangents. That's not new to you two or our listeners. And I was listening to In Class with Dr. Carr. We'll have a link, episode 299. And one of the things that they talked about, one of the things that came up was this article in New York Magazine that was published on November 17th. And it's called A Theory of Dumb. And, I don't know if y'all know, but some of our listeners know that there's an intentional defunding of the Department of Education. Some of what that's looking like right now is reclassifying positions, no longer classifying certain nursing degrees and things as professional. And what that means is you can get extra student loans to help you pay for schools, just like if you were going to med school or law school versus going to get a 4-year undergraduate degree, right? You're not going to need as much money in theory as you would for medical school, you know what I'm saying? Or nursing school. And so, but it just so happens that a lot of those positions, physician's assistants and all those things are disproportionately, obviously, Black women who are going to be screwed by this, and women of color overall. Monifa Bandele, Bandele. She's with the group Moms Rising. She was talking about this on the Larry Daniel Favors show, or Larry Favor Daniel Favors. My bad. On YouTube, they were talking about the reclassification of the positions and, and a lot of this dumbing down stuff and really trying to, push forward because all this about, they want white land. We know that. So, like, no one's confused. That's the end goal. Trans people are just a means, to an end. And, some of the other things to help, put the white women back in the house so they can have white babies because they're not having enough white babies, right? Is the trad wife stuff. This is a part of it because, like women disproportionately work in these fields and they've taken away jobs. Another thing that they're doing too is they're coming after the Equal Credit Opportunities Act. Again, it's called the Equal Credit Opportunities Act. And it was a federal law that prohibited lenders from discriminating against people in general, but particularly women. Because up until 1974, people with vaginas could not get any kind of credit without a man, without someone they thought was a man, like your dad, your brother, your husband, You couldn't just go get credit. Like 1974, I was born in the early 80s. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of trans. That's why some of the stuff too with like particularly older trans guys, when people talk to them like they're crazy and they don't know shit about what it means to be a woman in the world, blows my mind because you're talking to people that couldn't get lines of credit. You know what I'm saying? Like that don't even like that is to me is so disrespectful as if that lived experience isn't sitting with them. Why would they not know, regardless of what the fuck they look like? Because the bank don't, you know, the bank don't give a fuck how you identify. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, but anyway, so yeah, so there was this law. There was actually was a congresswoman named Representative Heckler. Not gonna get too much into it, but she got elected to Congress and she was like, damn, I'm a whole ass lawyer and I'm a whole ass congresswoman and I cannot get a fucking line of credit. I can't get a credit card. I can't get no loan. I can't get shit. I'm a whole ass lawyer and a whole ass congresswoman in Washington, D.C. and can't get no fucking credit card. That's just what the fuck it was. I mean, sexual harassment became illegal when we were kids in the workplace. Like that, this shit is all new that they're trying to snatch away. And it's easy to kind of forget that the shit is new for some folks if you didn't, you know, like it's fresh and new to me just because I was a kid in the 80s. You know what I mean? And the stuff was changing. Title IX around women in the sports, girls in sports, and all that kind of shit. You know, whatever. Like that was very real. Anyway, they're doing all this shit, but one of the biggest ways they're trying to dismantle this whole thing is coming after education. They were talking about how experts and were sure that the 20th century was going to make people stupid because of all the culture and technological changes and the changes in life. You know, you talk about light bulbs, radio. We kind of talked about this too. Comic books, movies, and all that kind of stuff. Excuse me. And they thought that for a while, but you know, the recent shifts they're saying have changed because like today, when it comes to getting information, TikTok is the news source for 17% of people worldwide. TikTok. And also, they say the shrinking ranks of media, of traditional media, have hitting themselves behind paywalls and changes to recommendations on search engines like Google and stuff. So, like, anyway, the tech companies make it hard for us to find the actual source of the article, right? Of the thing that we're looking for on purpose. And they overwhelm us with bullshit on purpose. Because Diamond, I'm not sure if you remember, but Diamond, I'm sure you remember. Computers were like for business, for taking care of things. You went to the computer to look shit up. You know what I'm saying? Even with AOL days, it still was like, you know, you're taking care. You know, you might write a paper. You're gonna be online. You might be chatting. You might be, but it wasn't. Obviously, social media changed the game. But I'm just saying, even with early social media, it wasn't a barrage of shit. And say all that to say, well, I guess I don't know if you feel that way, but there definitely was like a shit. But they're saying, you know, layered on top of all the bullshit, and the companies are overflowing us with entertainment. They say entertainment nonsense, infinite subgenres of increasingly specific pornography, increasingly specific videos. Like literally, this is what it says in the article.
I think this goes along with how recently they found out that many of the bullshit accounts were from overseas.
We talked about that
on Twitter.
Yep. Like World Star, for example. What do you think about this convergence of this research that's showing this? We know that they're targeting the Department of Education, these attacks on education, and seeing these data that's not necessarily they're saying a correlation, but definitely an observation around testing for schools and like IQ.
Well, one thing that America has conditioned us to do is to be individualistic and to believe that our ideas and our thoughts are more important than other people's, all about what we think, what we feel, what we can do, and so much, and not so much about how we affect other people, essentially. I think that that's the biggest issue that America has. Um, and it boils down to everything, even people getting lost in conspiracy theories. People get lost in conspiracy theories because we're conditioned I, like you said, Jay. But what's the point of you talking if you're not going to listen to what people have to say? And I think that's another issue that we have in this society, and that leads to brain rot. A lot of people want to talk just to hear their own voice.
I can't think of anything except for Handmaid's Tale. Like it makes me think of just like I know that that is a dystopian fantasy, but it just feels like everything is going in that direction. And even what you were talking about with Steve Bannon, when the strategy is to fill everything with shit just so it can be fucking distracting to people. Um, I think some people are lazy, and I think why that strategy works is because some people are lazy. Um, I also think that some people are just fucking out here grinding and trying to survive and trying to keep the bills paid and trying to where they can't even, you get what I'm saying? I can't, I'm just trying to go to work. I'm just trying to pay the light bill. I'm just trying to pay the rent. I'm just trying to, so they can't even critically focus on, some of this strategy that is working on them, like to be able to stop. They're trying to escape from the pressures of life on the internet. I'm trying to focus on, you know, I don't know, whatever the distraction is, just because I'm trying to get a break from the reality of the world. And so I don't know, it just feels for me in my own personal experience, I I I try to focus on people. Like I'm not in the comments talking to bots. I'm not in the I'm people who entertain me are actual people. Like I'm not doing a thread with this one person that don't have no profile, that don't have no, you know what I'm saying? I'm not engaging with people like that. I'm actually engaging with people, actual people. And so when that I either met in person, that I either, you get what I'm saying? I know they're real through their engagement and through their what our shared interests. We can like this is just one example, but like Tressie um McMillan Cotton. Like we've been in each other's inbox. We've talked to each other. So when some
Can
dude
you share who that is?
Tressie is
You
a
might not.
writer. She's a professor. She's a writer, professor, just an intellectual that I love to follow because she's smart, she's brilliant. She's a writer for the New York Times. I don't know what school she actually worked for, but she's a professor too. She wrote the book called Thick. She's just a brilliant intellectual, just one of the brilliant intellectuals that I follow. And so when somebody sends me a message to my email pretending to be her, I know it's not her because I actually talk to her. I actually engage with her. And so it is very, very seldomly, if at all, that I can remember a time when I was catfished. I just have a certain criteria that I follow for myself. And the same thing in the same way that I don't get catfish in dating. Like I don't we have to talk on the internet. We have to do FaceTime. We have to, you get what I'm saying? I don't just jump and meet people without vetting them. It's the same thing that I do with social media people. Like you can't trick what's that meme? That meme, you cannot trick me. Like it is, you just can't. You just it's because I require too much of the people that I follow in order for me to for me to actually take you seriously. You have to be a human. So I'm not just following bots. I'm not
Can I,
even engaging with them.
can I ask y'all, since we know, like, how do you think, since we know we're dealing with like intentional trying to condition anti-intellectualism, we know that. We know that's happening from all bajillion angles. And you both kind of shared like some of your ways of handling that. But like, how do you think? Yeah, can you share more about that? Like, how do you kind of navigate through that and try to combat it without being like fuck
I'm
everybody, fuck everything,
I'm the queen of receipts, Jay. I learned very early that me being black, me being a woman, not even if I'm not clocked as trans, me just being a black woman on the internet talking about certain subjects, people won't take me serious on face value. People won't trust me on face value. Therefore, I'm the queen of receipts. I'm the
Oh,
kind of girl who because of that, I very rarely break a story, and I always question myself though. So that's a negative.
how do you navigate it like interpersonally with folks?
Oh, child, like Diamond said, honey, I could never be catfish. I grew up in a small town and I was one of the girls who had clocked all the catfish. I could tell you who all the catfish is down there now. I could tell you the ones the catfish on Facebook. I could tell you the catfish is on Grindr. I could tell you the cat honey, I could tell you who the real people are, honey, not just the catfish profiles. But anyway, no, similar to what Diamond said, I require too much of people. I question my motherfucking self. So you think I'm not gonna question other motherfuckers? You know what I mean? Um, yeah, that Virgo trait. I'm always in my head and I'm always paying attention to everything around me, and processing it. Hyper aware, hyper vigilant. So I don't play them games around here.
I think
What
I
about
don't
you, Diamond?
I think that I let my curiosity lead. I'm not always trying to prove a point or trying to learn for the sake of responding. Like some shit I don't want to fucking talk about. And I know some people, because of the algorithm and because of the pay per click, the trying to have the hot take on the hot subject. I know some people are quick to do that. I'm not saying that I'm not, if it's not in my lane, I'm not breaking my neck to talk about it. If it's some shit going on with the trans community that's a big thing that everybody's talking about, yes, I'm going to talk about it because I'm a community ass bitch, and if the community is talking about it, I want to talk about it. I want to tell my thoughts too. And so yes, I'm going to talk about whatever the hot subject is, but I'm not looking for every single subject for me to talk about. I'm also because some shit I'm not interested in. I'm not interested. Like it took us forever to talk about the fucking DL Whisperer. I don't give a fuck about him like that. Only reason why I talked about him last week is because it was threats happening to the girls, and I think that that's dangerous, and I think that that takes it to a whole other level. But you just talking about DL man and being a fucking trans woman hater, I don't give a fuck about that shit. I'm not breaking my neck to talk about that. And so my motivations online are not always to get the most clicks or to get the most. I've been online for a long time and I've never moved to just get views. I move in a way that I just want to stay in my fucking lane. I talk about trans shit, I talk about political shit, and I talk about historical shit. I might venture into fashion. I might put some music out. I might do, you get what I'm saying? I might do that, but I know my fucking lane. This is what I'm talking about. I know I'm a niche topic, so I know. And I'm not a clown. I'm not going to be running around being a clown. That's not me. That's not who I am. And so I'm not going to always be trying to do the funny hot take and the funny thing that goes viral. I'm not going to do that. That's not who I am. And I think people appreciate it. You know, I'm going to take a subject seriously. I might kiki and laugh, da 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 da, but I'm going to take a subject seriously. And that's just what it is. And so that may not give me the most clicks, but it's authentically who I am. And I have benefited for being who I am authentically. Maybe not to the level of some people, but definitely it has created a life for me that I enjoy without sacrificing my integrity. And so when I'm looking at when I'm getting information and I want to share it and I want to talk about it, I do my best to try to get the facts and get the information and get everything right. And if I don't know it, if I don't know, say I don't know. Or if this resource that I'm looking at is giving a little janky, I'm like, I don't know, this is giving a little janky, little this source is a little janky. I'm not for sure, but let's just discuss it. And sometimes I do that where I don't know all the facts about this case, but this is just the springboard of me talking about the idea. It's not about the specific the details, but I want to talk about it just so we can engage with the ideology around it. And I'm very clear about that. And so that's the best way that I can do it, just making sure that I'm very clear about my intention on what I'm talking about and incorporating what I actually know instead of just kind of making shit up as I go. And I don't if and I don't have a problem with saying this is wrong, this is inappropriate, this is even if it's on my side of the aisle. If some trans person is doing some weird ass shit, raping people, I'm not gonna shy away from just because this is a bad look on trans people. I'm not gonna shy away from calling this motherfucker out for being a fucking predator. And even though I know me talking about it can amplify the narrative of trans predators, da 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 da, my integrity says if this motherfucker is doing this, I'm gonna talk about it. And so I try to be honest, even if it's a bad light, and I try to be forthcoming about what I do know and what I don't know, and that's the best I can do. And I've never and I'm in trying to just stay in my lane, and that's what I do.
Diamond is very, what you see is what you're going to get. We pretty much know what to expect from Diamond Stylz, you know. But I am a clown, and I did come on social media just wanting to cut up and act a fool and have fun and do the trendy cut ups, and it, it when shit came up, I also felt necessary to talk about important shit, and even now, that's exactly what it is. Like, I'm a clown, so I feel like I have to have. That's another reason I have to have those receipts, because outside of me being black and being trans, even if people would trust a black trans woman, they might not necessarily trust somebody who kikis and cuts up all the time. So yeah.
Do y'all in your interpersonal situations, like with this kind of topic, do y'all hear people kind of like devaluing like learning, I guess, to a certain degree? Or you know what I'm saying? Um like with the test score stuff, y'all seen Lean on Me, right? The movie Lean on Me. Um, it's like that level type shit where it's like, yo, the concern is like the kids are not gonna be okay. Like that's why the thing is a thing. It's like if the kids don't have these basic math skills, they don't have these basic reading skills, they're gonna be vulnerable in terms of what they can
I'm
do
gonna
for
tell
work,
you.
in terms of people taking advantage of them and shit.
I'm gonna tell you what I. I'm gonna tell you what I see, Jay.
Yeah.
Being a TikToker, I get a lot of trending videos sent to me by TikTok, just in case I want to be involved in the trend, right? That makes my algorithm, that puts a lot of young people on my algorithm. When I tell you the commonality in seeing people misspell words with their whole entire chest. And I'm not talking about abbreviate. I'm not talking about the letter U instead of YOU. I'm not talking about, no, I'm talking about motherfuckers misspell words like learn. LERN, and with their whole chest and the caption broad on the video. Like, I can't tell you how many times I wanted to take somebody's content and repost it. Black people specifically, just because I focus more on Black content creators and I primarily follow Black people. I can't tell you how many times I haven't been able to use somebody's content because they had a big ass caption that mispronounced something, and it was no way for me to blur that caption out without distorting the integrity of the video.
Can I ask too, like, do you think for both of you, because you've been in this game for a minute when it comes to content, like, do you think there are ways for other, maybe not the two of you, but other people who do content online that find a way to reach out to some, you know what I'm saying, pull some of those folks in and provide opportunities, like some literacy opportunities for them? Do you even think that could be possible for someone to come up with something like that? Again, not saying y'all, but like just in, you know.
I'm gonna be honest, Jay. Listen, I am not a parent. I ain't got no motherfucking kids, so I don't. I don't have a lot of kids in my circle on the learning literacy level, and the ones that I do, they can read and they read good. My nephews, they are brilliant little boys, and so. Because their parents, their parents are focused on that and they're doing a great job at that. So for me, I can't say that I'm fully just in the trenches of trying to educate the young people. That really, like I said, I talked about staying in my lane. My lane is with adults. And so because even recently, y'all know we just came back from holidays. Even recently, my nephew was like, "Ooh, can I watch some of your videos?" And I was like, and he went on his little iPad and searched me on YouTube, and I was like, this is too grown for you. And it wasn't that I was talking about sex. It just, this is not for you. And so my content, I intentionally am talking to adults. And so even like when the analytics of my stuff, my analytics, my audience skews younger than me, but not in the teens. It skews between 25 and 35. Which I love that because that means my mentality is a little bit younger than myself. But I really focus on the politics of who I am is a little bit younger than myself. And so I don't really focus on kids. So I don't know what's going with the literacy of kids. I know that it's going down because I read articles and I read what's going on. But as far as the strategy, it's kind of like it's similar to like reproductive justice. That's not my lane. I ain't got no stuff that's going on. Yes, I push you to get the education from people who do that work, but if I'm to be honest, like I don't really. It's not like I'm going to organize and rally for social justice. That's not my lane.
Yeah, no, I mean that's not the question. The question is just like, do you know, really, do you think that's something a content creator could do? Not necessarily y'all necessarily.
So
Yeah,
this is where I see
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Absolutely. This is where I see the decline showing up in my own audience, in my own circle. Is it's these subtle little things that people say. Like if you come into a conversation and you say something and their response is, "Oh Lord, you always on some woke shit," or them accepting that negative spin of wokeness. When I was growing up, woke meant that you were aware. It meant that you thought deeply about things. And so this anti intellectualism shows up in anti-wokeness. Even I'm talking about within our community. I'm not talking about anti-wokeness when it comes to the right wing. I'm talking about even within our community and on the left. And there'll be jokes or some comedic video, and I'll get in the comments and say, "Oh, this is kind of cringy because of blah 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 blah." Oh, girl, they'll comment, shut your bitch ass up, or shut your ass up with the what's the little acronym for S, whatever the acronym for shut your ass up. They'll do that, and it'll be it's these subtle little ways that people want to dumb you down and not think deeply about some of the stuff. And I'm like, well, this is the little ways that we this is the little ways that we indoctrinate people in some of these wrong mentalities, because you're putting it out as a joke. And no, this is not a joke. You can't make jokes about this, because it trivializes real oppression, or trivializes real things, real problems in society. And that's where I see it in my adult life, where it's like, oh, you're not thinking. It's almost goes back to this escapism that I was talking about. You're not trying to think deeply about this. You're not trying to think critically about this, because the reality of it will force you to think about fixing it. And so that's what I see in my adult peers, where it's like they're and I understand they're trying to escape from the reality, but we have to fix some of the problems that's got going on, and we can't ignore it. We can't be like the white people tell us to do. Just if you don't talk about racism, it's not racism. We can't be like that. We have to actually fix problems. And so yeah, that's what I see in my own. Do I think it's possible what you're saying? Yes, I think it's possible that people can actively do that, but you have to think deeply about these things, and I think some people are just not trying to think deeply about it.
Bree, what about you? It ain't never gonna be everybody. Just need that critical mass. I think it's a third. Bree, what about you?
I mean, no, I have to throw the humor in there. That's just how I cope with life personally. That comes along with me. And of course, my audience are those kind of people, the kind of people that want to know what's going on, but also want to be able to have a little bit of an emotional escape while processing it. Um, so that's kind of how I do my thing, and how I try to get to the people. And because I am a clown, I try and use that to my advantage, and I sprinkle that kind of content in. I bait the hook with a kiki, but then I reel them in on some real shit.
All right. Well, let us know how you feel about this conversion of Project 2025 in action, this anti-intellectualism conversation, and this Department of Education attack on the Department of Education. You know what I'm saying? And Bree, like you mentioned, the kids ain't spelling the shit right. What are some creative ways we can address that? What do you think about all these things kind of happening in real time, and how we can do something about it? Hit us up, hashtag Marsha's Plate. Bree, break it down.
Hashtag MARSHASPLATE.
Okay.
All right, so this week I have been watching a lot of true fucking crime.
Come on, True Crime. I live for an ID channel.
Yes, so the show that I have been watching is called How I Caught My Killer. The show that I've been watching is called How I Caught My Killer. And
Oh
so
Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord.
every episode is about how somebody who had been murdered, something that they either left behind, or a detail that they left behind was the detail that led to them, the cops catching who murdered them. And so it's 2 seasons, and I went through all the seasons. Really, really good. I think it's on yeah, it's on one of the platforms
It's
here.
on Oxygen or one of them, honey. But I'm familiar with it. I know what you're talking
I
about.
love it. It's on one of them platforms that I don't subscribe to anymore. So
Wait, is it on the same place they do Snap? Is that the same channel they do Snap?
it's similar to Snap, but I don't
Okay.
I don't know. I know where I watch it. I don't want to say them. Y'all know them shady ass Mickey Mouse motherfuckers.
Honey, well, I pirate all them motherfuckers. Holla at
Yeah,
your girl.
pirated.
Yeah, holla at your girl if you want to connect.
Exactly. Pirated, honey. It's called How I Caught My Killer. Anyway, so when I was watching the shows, I was like, it's two things that really was settling in my spirit about it. And I always have this in my brain when I watch true crime type of shit. These motherfuckers are stupid. Like these criminals are fucking dumb. Like
Well, then just say that then. Dang, Diamond.
it's the smallest, it be the smallest mistake or the most obvious stupid shit that people do where like you was trying to get caught. Like it felt like in my brain, I'm like, one of the things that would be the worst disgraceful death is me getting killed by one of these dumb, stupid ass fucking ignorant criminals. And in my brain, I'm always like, oh, this would be so embarrassing. I not only am I dead because of this clown, he got caught for the dumbest shit. Like I got killed by this dummy. Anyway, so and then the other thing is true is how easy it would be for people to get off based off of like them not getting caught by this one little small mistake. Like one of the cases, the girl on one of the reasons why she got caught is she text a picture of a field to her sister. A field that she didn't know she was about to die because her husband, quote unquote, she thought she was about to get proposed to, but the damn man killed her. So he took her to this beautiful farm out of nowhere, and she think that she fucking about to get proposed to, and he actually kills her because he got a secret life of another woman, and he need to get rid of her because she pregnant. All kinds of shit. Anyway, I thought it just one of those things where if he would have got away with it if she hadn't have sent that picture to her sister, where they can find the farm based on the picture, and bam, they couldn't even find her body, so they couldn't but they knew that he was the fucking culprit because he kept telling different stories, but because they couldn't find the body and couldn't find it connected, she was just missing. Anyway, I say all of that one little mistake lets me know that shit, some people could just get away with a murder just because they can't find nothing to pin the motherfucker on. Anyway, I want to give an update on something that we have talked about, a case that we have talked about out of Mississippi. So there in 2022, there was a case of Sheldon Harrington Jr. He was charged with murder of a University of Mississippi student, which is Ole Miss, Jimmy J. Lee. Everybody thought that Jay was trans, but because Jay had hair and makeup and blah blah blah, but Jay was not trans. He was just a gay boy that wear girl clothes. He was murdered and found, but they couldn't find Jay's body. But he was murdered by Sheldon Harrington, and because Sheldon was scared that Jay was gonna tell his tea, like tell that they had a sexual romantic relationship. And so on July 8th, 2022, Jay came up missing from Oxford, Mississippi, which is where Ole Miss is at. Both of them are graduates of Ole Miss, and Jay was a current student, but Sheldon was not a current student. He was a graduate, but not a current student. They both lived in Oxford. Jay lived on campus. And so what we know what they knew from the cameras is that, and from the text, the Snapchat messages between Jay and Sheldon, another stupid thing, like they're gonna go through your phone. If you are a murderer, they're gonna, in an investigating situation, they're gonna go through your phone. And they can. They don't need a PIN number. They actually can go through your phone. They can actually go through the phone company and get the messages from your fucking people. So anyway, so because of the messages on Snapchat, they realized that they had been hooking up, and Jay was coming to his house. Like he literally left his house to hook up with this boy in a robe and a bonnet. And they see it on the camera. And so he goes, and he's wearing a robe and a bonnet, and he left the house to meet up with Sheldon. July 22nd, because he had came up missing, Jay had came up missing, and all the evidence led to him. They arrested Sheldon, and arrested him and charged him with Lee's murder, even though they hadn't found a body. And so what they in 2023 they indicted him, and they for a capital murder charge in 2024, December 2024, last year. Harrington's first trial actually ended in a mistrial due to a deadlocked jury because they hadn't found a body, and everything that surrounded the case was only circumstantial. They couldn't really, because they didn't have a body, they couldn't really pin it on them, but they could because of, like, they see that this is the last person that this person was with. And while we can't prove that you killed, we can't, because we can't find a body, we can prove that he was the last person that you was the last person he was with. And we seeing you do shady stuff. So let me get into the shady stuff. Why the mistrial was happening. So the facts of the evidence of the case is that Harrington Sheldon, what they saw was he had a moving business and he had a moving truck. And they saw him drive to his parents' house and get a wheelbarrow and a shovel. And this is a camera from the neighbors across the street. So they see him, and then when they search his truck, the cadaver dogs smell Jay on the sheets, but it's no body. So they don't have a body. So they can prove that Jay was there, but they can't prove the murder. You see what I'm saying? And so for the first trial, it was a bunch of circumstantial evidence, and clearly he had a good lawyer, because they got the jury to be deadlocked. But bam, fast forward to February of 2025. So this is 2.5 years after the murder and the trial, all this kind of stuff. So 2.5 years, they find human remains in a county south of where Sheldon lives. And so they found the remains, and they confirmed through DNA analysis that it's Jay's body. And so with the body, they find the skeletal remains. Some deer hunters found the skeletal remains in a like a woody dump that was known for being like illegal dumping. They would put tires and all kind of just illegal stuff there. And so what they found with the body was Jay's bonnet. They found a gold necklaces of Jay's with his name on it. And they found some of the moving blankets from the moving truck with the body, with the duct tape that they saw on camera that Sheldon went and bought at the store, the same duct tape that he bought. So they found it that they caught him purchasing on camera. So you see how all of this stuff, he had all the proof. They had all the proof, but they just didn't have a body to say boom, boom, boom. And so the prosecution laid out, based on all that they found, they laid out that they proved that he killed Jay. He bought the duct tape at the store. He drove to his hometown in Grenada to pick up the shovel and the wheelbarrow from his parents' house, because they had the video of his parents. And they think that whatchamacallit was in the truck at that time when he drove to his parents' house. And then he took the body to this dumping area in Winona in Carroll County. So today, December the 1st, in closing, December the 1st, 2025, because of all this evidence, now, during the trial, Sheldon pleads guilty to second-degree murder. He take a plea deal, and he pleads guilty to second-degree murder and tampering with evidence in regards to this in regards to this second trial. So because he take the plea deal, he won't be up, because he is in Mississippi. You can get life and you can get, death penalty. So he would not be at risk of that. He took the plea deal for second-degree murder because he couldn't avoid lying anymore. Now they got the body and they tell the truth. So I just wanted to not talk about it, but just give y'all an update on that particular case, how this boy just randomly killed his lover just because he was scared that people would find out about it. And yeah, just a cautionary tale that these DL niggas would take you up out of here. And most of the time, in cases of these true crime situations, it's always motherfuckers that you know. It's always a lover, not always, but you get what I'm saying. There's somebody that's in your vicinity, either a person you're fucking with, your family. It's always an intimate person that's in your circle. It's never some. It's very, very rarely some random motherfucker. It's always somebody that you're dealing with, and so yeah, that's. I didn't have anything I wanted to talk about it. I just wanted to give it an update. Do y'all have any thoughts?
Only thing I could say is stories like this, and not the fact that you're bring, because I definitely don't want to shoot the messenger. It's all about the message. Stories like this is a huge reason and why trans people deal with mental health issues. Just knowing that stories like this exist, and we shouldn't ignore them. We can never ignore them. But I definitely want y'all to be aware that the existence of things like this contributes to the fact that we are so vulnerable to mental health issues.
I wanna say this. I feel like a lot of people judge, and I'm gonna say us. And when I say us, I'm not even talking about just trans. I'm talking about anybody who is vulnerable to intimate partner violence. So cis women, black women, poor women, anybody that are in particular circumstances that make you more vulnerable. There's a lot of times people, when we hear stories, we the initial reaction is, particularly in a DL situation, somebody will, well, yeah, this is why we shouldn't be dealing with DL men. Um, and or if it's a cisgender situation, well, why didn't she just leave? There's a victim blaming that kind of always happen. And what I am, the two stories that I just talked about, the one that I watched about the girl getting murdered by a person who she thought was about to propose to her because she was texting her sister saying, "I think that he is about to propose." This isn't. And then we talk about this person who I've been hooking up with that I'm so comfortable hooking up with that I'm coming over with my bonnet and my robe because I've been hooking up with this dude. These are there's a particular vulnerability that we have with our intimate partners that it's very, very hard for us to avoid the red flags. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's what I saw in many of these stories is like, think about it. I am pregnant. I am dating this guy. I'm sleeping with him. So I mean, you don't get more intimate than that. I'm sleeping with him. I'm pregnant by him. I'm telling him that I'm pregnant, and he's telling me, and after she dies, he's telling the police that I love her. She's the person that I love. Blah 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 blah. So there is nothing in this scenario that's giving me a red flag. I'm sleeping with him. He comes over my house. He treats me good. He treats me like I'm loving him. I don't know that he has a whole other woman that he's lying to as well. And so there's nothing about this situation that could be a red flag to me. And so
He,
I've
he
been,
knew her people too.
uh,
He knew her people and stuff too. The
yes,
dude.
like she was a teacher. She was a school teacher, and she's under the impression that this is about to take them
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
next level of their relationship because now we're having a baby.
Right. Right.
But
Right.
on his end, he's been living double lives. So I don't want to talk about that particular one, but it's all the many of them. These are people who are your friends. These are people who are your lovers. These are not just some random person I'm walking down the street at 2 o'clock in the morning. Well, why would you walking down there's
Right.
many there's a just a vulnerability that you have with somebody that you're intimate with, that you don't think that this motherfucker is gonna stab you to death. When we think about the trans man Wilmer Brodnack, he got killed by his partner. When we think about just it's just what it is. Like it just feels like it's hard to tell when you are in danger in our situations because most of the time it's somebody that you've already dealt with. It's somebody who you've been dealing with. It's somebody who you are intimate with that your guard is down. Some random dude that I meet at the mall, my guard is gonna be up. I'm gonna be thinking about, oh, this could turn ugly if I tell him my tea, if I do this or I da 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 da. Yes, but somebody who I've been dealing with, who I've been engaging with, who I love, or who I'm just, I've been in a sexual relationship with, it makes us more vulnerable because our guard is all the way down. This is somebody who we are close to, and we can't avoid um and for people to judge us and expect us to anytime I've been in a dangerous situation with somebody, it was the vulnerability of me knowing them that had my guard down. My guard is never down with fucking strangers or people I'm not intimate with. It is always somebody who has me in a position because I was close to them or because I knew them for a long time. I've been dealing with them for a long time. And so, yes, I'm gonna allow you to come over. Yes, I've been dealing with you for a long time. I don't know that you and this is not my situation. This is one of my gay mom situation. She had been dealing with this guy for a year, but she didn't know that he's sitting over in this house with some older cousins of his, and they're convincing him to come over to rob her and leave her for dead. And so when she comes to the door, she been dealing with him for a year. So her saying her opening up the door for this guy who she's been dealing with is normal because I know him. But I don't know he got two niggas with guns around the wall. And so that is a situation that she was in. I've just seen so many. My homegirl Tasia got killed on Christmas in 2009, 2010, somewhere around there. This is somebody who she allowed to come stay with her. Her and her boyfriend allowed this young man to come stay with her. And he decides he wants to rob them after 3 months of living in their house and shoots them both to death and
Mm-hmm.
take their car and drive the car to Fort Wayne, Indiana. And the baby mama, his baby mama, recognized the whole story in the car and blah, 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 and snitches to the police.
Mm-hmm.
And they find out that he's the one that murdered Tasia, and he's the one that because he didn't have nowhere to go, she let him live in her house for 3 months.
Child, honey, the story that I told a million times, the murder that I witnessed, or the first murder that I witnessed in my life, my homegirl Rashana getting killed while we was waiting on the bus to go to school. The dude that killed her was not only her boyfriend for several years, but it was somebody who we grew up with, who we had known our entire lives.
Yeah. So it's not
It's
always you're not always
Most
able to
times,
avoid it.
yeah, but yeah, like I'm just saying what you said. Most times, right? It's like most
Yeah.
times with yeah, with intimate partner violence type shit. It's somebody you know, somebody you've been dating, somebody you've been around. You know, um, that's something that especially in college, right? You people have to emphasize around date rape a lot, right? Like it's all. Don't be trying to see, it's not because homegirl wore that skirt. You know what I'm saying? No, this is a thing. It's an issue. But it's like across the board. Yeah, somebody and that most times,
Yeah.
you know.
So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that because it just was an interesting story because the DL subject keeps coming up, in the past couple of weeks. The DL subject keep coming up, and I keep seeing people kind of dismissing it. Oh, this y'all shouldn't be dealing with DLs, and there are tons of situations where I was dealing with a DL and didn't know I was dealing with a DL. I am a relatively passable girl, so I can go out in public without people just wearing me out about being trans. And so because of that, men will date me openly in regards to being out in public, taking me to restaurants, taking me out, because they know most people are not going to know that I'm trans. And so there's a privilege that comes with that. And so in my brain, because I'm dating this guy, he's not DL because he is taking me out in public. But what I don't know is he's not telling people. Other people don't know, and he is keeping it a secret. And so I keep seeing this subject come up about DL people and how they kind of victim blame. And so I wanted to kind of share this story, have this update on this story. So yeah, let us know what y'all think about these kind of true crime stories. This story out of Ole Miss, out of Mississippi, kind of coming to an end with him pleading for second degree murder, this Sheldon Harrington guy, Sheldon Harrington Jr. And how, yeah, they're sentencing him tomorrow because he took the plea deal. And so let us know what y'all think. Hashtag Marsha's Plate.
Hashtag MARSHASPLATE.
Right. Can I ask y'all? You can put it in or not, but how often have you come across, or like how often do you think? What am I trying to say? When you said like there's guys who are on the DL who are open, or like they don't. What did you say? They're not open about being on the DL. How often do you think? How often have you come across that, or like how frequent do you think that is? Is that something that's kind of always there, but like a smaller, whatever? You know what I'm saying? Like, or is that something you
80%.
regularly come across?
I would
For
say
me,
for me, 80%.
yeah.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm,
it's about the same for me, about 85. I would say 85 to 90% of the cis guys who have contacted me, hit me up, DM me, knowing I'm trans from the door. Um, they have been DL. Even this current boyfriend, he wasn't DL per se, but his family didn't know until I came around.
mm.
And of course, they knew my tea because they were already following me online.
Yeah, I think sometimes in my
You said,
experience, it is they will. And I'm an old school girl too. I don't date older. I mean, I don't date younger men. Young. Like I'm not dating nobody in their 20s. So most of the time, my rule is 10 up, 10 down. I will date somebody 10 years younger than me and 10 years older than me. That's my limit. And so most of the people are in that I date are going to be in my generation. And so because of that, I am always coming across men. I'm an old school girl. I'm an old school 90s film queen. And so I live a certain way with a certain I don't want to be out in public, and my life doesn't revolve around me being trans. So my goal is to blend with society and da 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 da. And so the benefit of that to a man, a old school kind of 90s nigga, they're rare. They benefit that because they like, oh, she's the type of girl that don't want people to know anyway out in public. So they kind of align with how I want to move in the world. But I have to be, now that I'm older, I used to not be very diligent about drawing the line and talking about it. But now that I'm older, I have to tell dudes I am not looking for somebody who wants me to be stealth. That's not who I am. That's not who I'm gonna be. I'm not somebody that's gonna be walking around with a t-shirt, trans power, da da da. I'm not that person. But I'm also not I need you to
Bree,
know,
like I'm that person. Bree,
yeah, I'm not that person.
100% trans fat. I used to have a 100% trans fat shirt.
Yeah, I'm not that person. So that's not what I'm gonna do. I'm old school. I like to kind of blend with society. I'm not always trying to be no fucking activist. But I am an activist. So I am somebody who posts my content online that somebody may come across. And so I need you to know that while I am trying to navigate the world, just kind of be the regular woman that I am, I need you to know that it might come out one day, and I need to know where you stand with that. Are you going to be comfortable with living in the truth that you are dating a trans woman? Because yes, we can navigate the world and be all doing our thing and people reading us as a cis couple, but if it does come out, how are you going to handle that? And so I make that conversation at the forefront of my dating conversations because I need you to know that I am not hiding who I am. It's not about me being ashamed of who I am. If it come out, then it comes out. But if it does, how are you going to respond? So yeah, that's kind of where I am now as an adult. When I was younger, I would be like, "Ooh, I don't want anybody to know my tea." There would be a kind of a shame and kind of a like, "Oh my God, people are clocking me. Let me go somewhere." You get what I'm saying? Oh no, like it would be a gag that I'm when my teeth start coming out and or something happens where somebody is spilling my tea. Oh, let's get up out of this club. Like, well, I'll go to a straight club and somebody from my high school will be in there. Oh, they don't know they went to school with me and that's a boy. Da, da, da. They'll tell him, no, we got to leave this club because everybody is talking about my tea. That would be the life that I was living in my younger years. And so I don't live that life now as like an older adult. Because if you know my tea, I don't give a fuck. Like now I'm to the point where I don't give a fuck. But in my younger years, I was really conscious about not being clocked because I was stealth and I was trying to be just live a regular life where transness wasn't centered. And so I just have gotten to a different level, but now men have to kind of grapple with that when we're dating. And so sometimes that takes me off the table as a potential partner because I am living so publicly as trans.
Yeah, I'm a tranny-licious tranny, honey. Just like I was a fagalicious faggy when I was a butch queen, honey.
Hmm.
Um, I'm very tranalicious, and you know, it for me when I was transitioning and on my journey to becoming the woman I am today, there was a period where when I was in black spaces, I wanted to be stealth. That's the only way I felt safe. And when I was in mixed or non-black spaces, um, I was tranny-licious. I felt like I could be tranny-licious because they weren't going to clock me. But I also never really felt, believe it or not, I've felt more safe being trans in mixed spaces or non-black spaces.
Yeah, I feel more safe in anywhere that the hood is. I feel more safe in the hood. So I don't ever feel safe around you know, mixed spaces.
Diamond, I just also want to name and thank you. The way you explain your experience, it's very similar to what many trans guys who are often perceived to be cis assumed in their daily walk, but also very active in the community, have very similar experiences. Tell that to the people that keep being like, but y'all look like men. Da, 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 da. No, there's plenty of people moving in the same exact way in very similar ways and been doing that for a very long time, and they're valid. We should not be shitting on them. And I'm glad that that is not as much of a thing, but it's definitely still a thing. And so appreciate you sharing that because that really articulated that really well. Um,
So,
yeah, yeah.
well,
But I'm
yeah.
just saying, like that experience, like what you said, I was like, that resonated. Uh, you know, that resonated. Um,
Yeah.
but oh, I was gonna say, when I was back home, back in the day when I was younger, I felt like I couldn't really be in a lot of black spaces after I came out because my mom was like tracking me down all the time. And so, like, when I would come home to visit, or like when I was still in high school and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, I remember I snuck into the black gay bar, and it was like they were like, you gotta get the fuck up out of here. Like, they know exactly everybody, you know what I'm saying? They knew what the fuck it was, you know what I'm saying? I saw people I ain't seen since I was a kid, you know what I'm saying? They're like, you can't be up in here, man, you know. But yeah, no, it just made me think about that when you said that. Yeah.
Gimme euphoria, more than peace of mind. It's the joy and space to change the tide. Gimme euphoria, more than peace of mind. It's the joy and space to change the tide. Gimme you. It's a feeling and a high you never come down from. Whoa.
What is bringing y'all euphoria this week?
Kind of getting a little bit more settled down. It's bringing me euphoria. I've been dealing with a lot of transitions, been across the country, different places, multiple parts of the country. Just like, it's been a lot for a minute. And so that's bringing me euphoria. And just really doing my mom, tomorrow's the anniversary of my mom passing. It'll be 13 years. And you know, this week I just found myself, particularly the weekend, found myself just doing little things that I wasn't even thinking about. Some of the things you think about, but like, just, you know, I was listening to some old school jams, some Dusties. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh my, you got joking. It just so happened that the show was on. Excuse me. While I was doing some stuff and things like that. So, or even just now, Bree, when you what you were saying, you know, made me think about my mom, because it was like I was ducking and diving. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I had to duck and dive her, and especially coming from a home that was so very like steeped in being in the community, very pro-black, and I was like, and so she don't want me in these spaces because at the time she was embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? Like, that changed over time, but I'm just saying, like, so it just was an interesting thing. So I was in spaces with the white folks and mixed spaces, and still had this unease. You know what I'm saying? Even though I was like comfortable, I could be comfortable, you know, but like there's still, it's the anti-blackness that's in those spaces where it's just like that's so very clear. You know what I mean? But anyway, so but yeah, my mom was bringing me euphoria. Um, and yeah, starting to get settled down. Appreciate the love and the patience, because I've been running, y'all. So yeah, that's bringing me euphoria. What about you, Bree?
The people being around people, honey, coming out of my bubble and starting to be around people more, you know, having you here, having you in the city, is bringing me euphoria. I'm still feeling the euphoria from Thanksgiving. I had a great Thanksgiving. My peoples ended up giving me so much shit for the house that I had to rent a U-Haul to bring the shit back home. Jay, you probably seen some additions, some new things in here. Yeah, all of the feels, all of the euphoria, all of the things. I'm feeling all of the things. Um, yeah, thanks. My boyfriend met my family. I'm still gagging.
Q, excuse me, Q.
I'm still gagging that happens. But it was an entire kiki. You know, here's this white passing man, honey. He's in one of my manager's outfits, one of Armani Days handmade little well, not little, but one of his jogger outfits. It was just it was cute, and it was funny, and it was so many things. And of course, the people on TikTok are TikToking and talking about my family. And I tell people all the time, I'm from a multi-ethnic family. Don't assume people's ethnicity when you see them. Yes, you can be black and multi-ethnic at the same time. I'm not going to keep explaining my family to you people. I don't give a fuck what y'all think, honey. That's going to be the answer every time. What about you, Diamond? What's bringing you euphoria?
My nephews, yay, they are so adorable and so cute.
Yes,
And
they
so,
are.
they're so smart. And they made me feel so, I just had a good time being around them. They were just so, you know how just kids just do some of the most random stuff. Like every time they got their drinks, they would be doing this. So say they any drink, it could be anything they're drinking. They doing like this.
Aw. What age?
It is a 3 to almost 4-year old and a 8-year old.
Yeah, they at the funny ages, honey. They bouncing off of each other, honey.
Yeah, and they just kept, they was like, they were trying to talk through the little gargles of the liquid, and it was annoying the shit out of my brother. It was annoying the shit out of him. Stop! He kept saying, it got to a point where he was like, stop doing that shit. Just drink the damn drink. Lena, stop doing that. It was so funny. And I was being annoying, saying, "Go down there and get the gargling by your daddy." And they're so lively and bubbly, and you know how you see kids that are just super protected and they are innocent and they just, you know what I'm saying? The world ain't got to them yet.
Yeah. Yeah. I was seeing that being with the family as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and they just were just smart, and the 3-year-old, he's talking, but he's talking in a way that's like, he talks where when I first hear him talk, I can't understand what he's saying. I'm like, what is he saying? And then once you figure it out, you can hear it. Like you like, oh, that is what he said. Like, for example, he was saying kitchen island. Like this is what he was doing. Like, if his parents would say no to something because he done registered that I'm an adult and he can do what I say, he would say, if they say no, he'll come sneak downstairs and ask me, ooh, a TT Diamond, can I have some of the Christmas cookies on the kitchen island? But I'm saying it where y'all can understand what I'm saying, but he's a little 3-year-old, so I couldn't understand what he was saying. I heard cookie, but the kitchen island part, I couldn't figure out what he was talking about. But I say, sure, yeah. I'm like, yeah, you can go get it. And so he getting up on the kitchen island, grabbing the cookies and bring them down to eat. And here come his mama or my brother, his daddy, come down and be like, who told you to get them cookies? TT Diamond. TT Diamond said I could get them. It was so funny. They were really trying to hustle me. And thinking that I don't know that they hustling.
Honey.
So yeah, it brought me euphoria being around them, and now that they're older and just happy-go-lucky kids, it just brought me euphoria. Yeah. Well, yes. Let us know what is bringing y'all euphoria this week. Hashtag Marsha's Play, and we will see y'all next week.
Hasta luego. See y'all later, honey.
All right, y'all. We love y'all. Peace.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's it. Thank you for coming and getting a taste of Marsha's Plate. You can listen to us on iTunes and SoundCloud. Make sure you leave a review because we really need those 5 stars, y'all.
And go like our Facebook page and leave some comments. We will be posting exclusive content every Thursday, so you definitely don't want to miss out.
You can also follow us on Twitter and any other social media site at Marsha's Plate. If you'd like to donate or advertise with us, hit us up at diamondstylz@gmail.com. That's diamondstylz@gmail.com.
And that's it for us, y'all. Bye.
Bye-bye.
You gonna say bye, Mia?
Oh, bye, y'all.
Every little thing's gonna be alright. Don't you worry about a thing.